Hello guys, my name is Samarpan Dasgupta and today is the part 17 of Flutter social media chat app generation tutorial 2021. In that video we are going to start with the backend for chat and showing connections in the home screen. So for that we have to work with some SQLite operations to store data in the local database for easy use and not give much pressure on the online database. For our case that is Cloud Firestore. So that video is going to be interesting. So here I will show you the demo and with the script code. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So guys, today we start with backend as I say in my intro, and what we should do now. So in the part 8 of the tutorial where I start with the SQLite and make that changes about making that tables. Hope you remember it if you see my previous videos, and this is from start with SQLite. This is the part 8 video, and we make that methods. Okay, we make that methods and also that variables as well. So you know, when user accepted the request, when the request is confirmed between the sender and inviter, then that is showing only the connected. Okay, and hope you remember just one thing, I sent here connect, and you can see this is pending. So if you see in the database, so here you can see this is showing other invite connection status dot invitation came. Okay, here, yeah. So it is showing request pending because we request here. So it is showing request pending, and I request that Sathibon. So it is showing here about invitation came. So if she accepted the request, it is only so connected here. But you know, here the sample name we use Samarpan generation. This is for the UI purpose we built. But now we will start on the work with the backend. So for that, the flow will be, I first tell you the flow, then start the coding. So that what will be, just like if anyone sent me the connection request here, so you know here will show accept. Okay, so if I accepted the connection request, then it will store in the Firestore just like before and also showing in that list. Okay, so let's start work with that. So first we remove that sample name that we made for the UI purpose. And you can see after the hot restart, as we remove all the sample name, it is showing nothing here. That connection, which connection we will going to accept will store in our local database, that is SQLite. Okay, we have to do two things. First, when we accept the connection request, that will automatically show here in that page, and that will automatically store in our local storage SQLite for future purpose. Okay, let's start work with that. So what we should done. So first we have to make here under the cloud data management, we have to make a function. Okay, so that will be, I made it void at first, and fetch real-time data from Firestore. Okay, so asynchronous process. So what we done here, we take the snapshot for that collection. What that collection name? This is generation user. That's the collection name, generation users. Cool. So we take the all collection snapshot. Okay. So why take all collection? We will see why we take in the upcoming videos, and some bit in that video as well. And what does snapshot? Snapshot actually take the real-time data, so it is fetching the real-time data actually. Okay, so come back here and okay, so we make a init state, and under that we have to call fetch real-time data from cloud storage. So here we have to make the object of cloud data, cloud stored data management. So here we first listen that method fetch real-time data from Firestore. Fetch real-time data that Firestore. Okay, so what it return? It return a snapshot. So I make it a name of real-time snapshot. Okay, so real-time snapshot dot listen, and this take a event. Okay, and we have to use null safety, I think. Yeah, because it returns also can return null if there is any error. Okay, so okay guys, now I am going to do the spread code for the time purpose, and as you know, after the spread code I will understand you step by step what I am doing in the spread code. So guys, please have a patience. I completed all the codes that's I tell before the spread code, and first see the demo, and then I will explain every step by step, and that will be helpful to you. So let's see the demo. Okay, I make a hot reload for that all the changes. Here you can see Samarpan Coder 2002, and this is my physical device. That's why I give the user about physical device. Okay, so here not we connected right now. Okay, I send the connection request from my physical device, then I will accept it from the virtual device. Okay, so let's come back here, and now I going to send the connection request from my physical device. I send the request, so here it should show accept. Yeah, it is showing accept. Now just notice a thing here, now no connection is present. So when I accept, when I click on the accept, when I accept the connection request, that Samarpan Coder 2002, that Samarpan Coder 2002 will be visible here automatically. Okay, that's we done in that split code. So let's see the demo. So I accept this. Please take a notice. Come back here and let's see the magic. Whoo! Is it cool? It is automatically come here. So, how is that? Comment about that. Okay, so that's we made in the split code, and it is seems so much simple here, but it is not so much simple. It is very complicated actually. So it takes much time in that split code. So let's understand what I done in that split code. Okay, so before the split code, you see that method I made on the chat and activity screen. Okay, so I zoom it for the better view. Okay, so yeah, so through that function we call it from the init state. Okay, and under that we call that function fetch real-time data from Firestore that we made before the split code. Actually, I tell before this that snapshot taking the real-time data and return it, and if there is any error, return null. So come back here. So with await, it is taking that real-time snapshot data. Actually, what that's return? It is return a future of stream query snapshot map string dynamic. So I don't specify the data type. I only specify a variable with final keyword, and then we have to listen it. Okay, because it is returning a real-time snapshot. So if we make it listen, so that if there is any changes in the database, it will listen that changes. That's why we have to use that listen. And you know, it can be return null if there is any error. So we have to check with the null safety. That return a query snapshot. Okay, so query snapshot.docs. That's actually that's return a list of query document snapshot map of string dynamic. Okay, and docs is a getter. As you can see, this is a get keyword is present there. So as this return a list, we iterate through the enhance loop, and it every element name as query document snapshot and make this callback function as asynchronous. And now the most important thing and most complex thing is came. So listen carefully and notice it. So what that query snapshot? Here come to the database. Here you see every document. Okay, so every document is a query snapshot. So what that query snapshot? Come to the database. Here you see every document. So every document with their collection, with their fields, is a query document snapshot. So now we checking if query document snapshot is similar to the current user email. So let's understand what that query snapshot.id, query document snapshot.id. Actually, query document snapshot.id actually representing that document, that every document. So actually in our case, it is representing our user's mail. Okay, actually all mail present in the cloud Firestore, and then if that mail match with our current user email, that means we found current user account in Firestore. Okay, then through that method check for new connection, we pass two parameter, query document snapshot and query snapshot.docs. So first one is query document snapshot map of string dynamic, and second one is a getter of list of query document snapshot map of string dynamic. Come back here in that method, checking for new connections. Here I made here. So through that checking for new connection, it is taking two formal parameter. One is query document snapshot and other is docs. Okay. So I start the loader here because there is so much work performing here, so it takes time. That's why I make the loader. That query document snapshot actually representing current user account. That means that user account actually representing by query document snapshot. So through that, as I said, every document snapshot contain the document ID with their document fields. So through that query document snapshot.get method, we can provide any of that field. Okay, what that field, that is about activity, connection request, any of that, what we want. So here I make a new constant file under the frontend folder global uses. So here we take the field name. As you can see here, the field name is about activity, connection request, so we take with about the string. Okay, so that it can be easy to use, and make it static so that it is initialized once. Okay, come back here. So we have to deal with that connection request, right? As you know, we have to now deal with connection request. So here you can see every ID contains a connection request list of map. Okay, so we now have to deal with that connection request. So for that, we pass query document snapshot.get and that field name connection request. Actually it is actually presenting that connection request, that field name connection request. Okay, so come back here. So it is returning the list of connection request list. You can show under that connection request, it is showing an array, but for our Flutter code it is representing a list. So that whole connection request list is come to here under that variable connection request list. So I made it as a list dynamic. But why I made it a list dynamic? Because just before I tell that it is a list of map, because in that cloud data management we make connection request list as a normal list. So when we just make with the list symbol, it is showing the dynamic. Okay, that's why we make it dynamic. Cool, that's why we take as a list dynamic. So make it final, and then we iterate through that connection request list. Okay, and every list element is a connection request data. In the list of connection request, every element values we have to search at first, because depending upon the values it is representing is invitation accepted or request accepted or request pending or invitation came. So that's why we are checking a new thing, connection request.values.first.toString. Actually it is representing that section, other connection status.invitation accepted or invitation came or request accepted or request pending. Okay, we are checking if that values section is similar with other connection invitation accepted or other connection request accepted. If any one of them is similar, then we proceed with that. So you know, as a formal parameter we take docs. This is a list of query document snapshot of map string dynamic. So through that we iterate every document. So what that every document? Every document is showing that, okay, that the email address in our case. So we take every document ID. So we take every document ID. So what the document ID? That in our case the mail address. So if that ID similar to the connection request data keys.first, because we enter that block when the values are similar to that invitation accepted or request accepted. So if that is showing the invitation accepted or request accepted, we have to show it here. We are checking with the key value of that connection request with every document ID. Okay, so if that ID match with connection request data key, that is connection request data's email ID, then we take some local variable for taking the field value of every document that is matching with that selected condition. Cool. So here every document.get, as we made that constant file before, here we call that username and replaced here, and it return the username. In that method we take connection username, token, about, account creation date, account creation time, and then we make a small changes. In the beginning of the video I say about that method insert or update data, and I say we made that in one of my previous video, that is part 8, which is start with SQLite. So we when we make that method, we make the return type as a future void, but now we change it future bool. Why? I am telling you, because here you can see, if you go here, when we made the table here, you can see we made the username as a primary key so that it can't be duplicate. So if there any condition happen accidentally, the duplicate username is coming to that table, then it is not storing data in here, because it will give the error in that line, so that it will switch to that catch block and it normally return false. Then the work will not proceed. But if it is returning true, if that method insert or update data for this account returning true, that means there is no duplication happen and a fresh username is inserted in that table. Okay, so if it is returning true, that means the new username inserted in the table, and then we made a new table in that split code. This is create table for every user. For every connected user, you have to make the table in the local database. Why? Because in that table that contains actual message, message type, message holder, message date, message time. Because as I said before, the previous conversation messages will be loaded from the local database, not the online database. So we have to make the table for every connected user. Cool? So we make that table and we give the table name as username. Okay, we make the account at the first time. We assign some constant there with name, number and underscore only applicable. No other is applicable there. Okay, so come back here. So we insert the username, because through that username the table will create it. And then the most important part came for the UI purpose. Okay, actually, you know, let's make it smaller. Yeah, you know, we empty the list as there is some fake name present for the UI purpose. But when the connection, when that is all the things happen, that is request accepted or invitation accepted, then we have to add that connection username through that list. Okay, we will make it runtime changes. That's why we make it under the state, and then under that list all connection username we add that username, connection username. Okay, so that's why it's showing here. So that's all the procedure. I know it is a complex procedure. If you don't understand, please see the video in repeat. It will be understandable to you, and don't copy paste the code from the GitHub. Just take the code for the reference, but don't copy paste. Manually write the code. It will understandable to you. It will take time, but understandable to you. And yeah, this is a complex process. So in this video we are covering a major backend thing, that is when user is connected, that user is showing in that chat list and also stored in the local database. So if you like the video, please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe my channel if you new came here. And guys, please comment about the video if the video is favorable for you or not. And guys, please support that video. So that's all for today. Have a nice day. Bye bye.